Hey everybody, it's Kevin here with Interstate Explorers, and in today's video we're talking about our time RVing with the Brinkley and Disney World, Fort Wilderness, and some tips for Disney World success. We just spent the past 5 nights at Disney's Fort Wilderness campground, and we really like this campground a lot. This is our second time staying there, first time with the Brinkley. It's got a really fun and festive atmosphere, and we're going to be definitely coming back here again in the future because this place is awesome. So for the campsite details, this campground is massive. Like, they have over 800 sites according to the internet. I got them at 847 sites. Just absolutely huge. All the sites are paved. They all have full hookups. The sizes of the sites are going to kind of vary, but the sites are going to have plenty of room for you and whatever kind of RV or diesel pusher or motorhome or whatever you have. There's going to be plenty of room for you there, which is nice. All the sites are back-in, so that can be kind of a problem. And it was a little bit of a problem for us because this campground was also built in the 70s and all the roads are narrow. And it can be a little bit tricky backing in your unit, especially if you're kind of at like an angle. So that's really the only kind of downside about this property is just the narrow roads and kind of the backing in, which was a little bit tricky. But otherwise, the campsite is just totally awesome. Now, one thing to note about Fort Wilderness is that they don't really allow cars. Now, what I mean by that is, of course, you have to bring your car in to tow your vehicle or whatever, but they really only want cars to go from your campsite to then immediately leaving to go to one of like the theme parks or wherever you're going to go. They don't want you taking your car to like the swimming pool or to like some of the other places there. So what people do is they bring golf carts or they rent golf carts. We've never actually rented a golf cart at Fort Wilderness. I believe it's $75 a day. And you're going to want to reserve that definitely in the future because I know that they do sell out. Now, since Fort Wilderness is so big, people will take those golf carts to some of the amenities around. So the golf carts are everywhere. And if you don't have a golf cart, well, then you're stuck walking. Or you can bring your bikes. Now, Disney did just pass a rule, and we weren't aware of this, that you can't bring e-bikes there anymore, so you're going to have to bring standard bikes. We have e-bikes, and we found out about that. We got stopped, so we just turned the power off and just turned them into normal bikes. Now, as far as the amenities go, there's a big pool area, which is really cool. They've got food. They've got a bar at that pool. They've got a water slide at that pool. That pool's very crowded, and it actually stays open pretty late. I'm not sure what time it exactly closes at, but I know that when we were getting home from the theme parks at like 10 p.m., like it was still going at the pool. So I know most campgrounds will close the pool at sundown or like 7 p.m. or 8 p.m., but Fort Wilderness just goes late, and like those kids just keep playing in the pool. They've got like horseback riding. I know they've got like a stable and stuff. They've got archery. They've definitely got a bunch of other things that we did not take advantage of. They've got like crafts for kids and stuff. At night they have a Chippendale sing-along where you can make s'mores and they'll do a little show for you. Definitely kind of more aimed at like younger kids, but I went there and stood and watched for maybe 15 minutes or so, and they do a good job of throwing in some adult jokes too to keep adults entertained, and it was pretty good. In addition to that, they have a marina, and the marina's cool because you can rent boats. I think you can go fishing. I'm not sure about that. But you can also take a ferry to Magic Kingdom, and that's like our favorite way to go because we just have our car parked at our site. We'll ride our bikes down to the marina. We'll just park the bikes there. We do bring locks for the bikes, but like I think we're the only people that actually have locks there. Everybody else, they just leave them, and I guess they're not getting stolen. Then you can get on the boat, and you just take the boat to Magic Kingdom, and you walk in the park, and it's easy. And then you just take that boat back. There's a lot of buses, so you can take the buses to the other theme parks. So everything's really laid out very well. The last thing I want to talk about the campground is they've got the Hoop-de-Doo, which is a dining and show kind of combination. It's one of like those dinner shows. And we went to Hoop-de-Doo for the first time. You do have to pay up front. But basically what it is they'll do a show, and it's kind of like an old Western theme. There's like 6 actors/singers, and they do just a bunch of different songs. The songs really kind of range in like silly songs for kids, and they have some serious songs there too. And as a music teacher, I appreciated the wide variety and the talent. And the singers are all really good too, and they've got 2 band members. They've got a banjo player and a piano player, and those guys were awesome too. So it was entertaining, it was fun. It's good if you've got kids. It's good if you don't have kids, it'll be entertaining for you as well. And the musicians are awesome. For the food, they bring you barbecue-style food, and they just bring you just a bunch of food. So we had salad, cornbread. They brought us just like a plate full of meat. I think there was like ribs and fried chicken on there. We did not finish it all. Oh, also, it's all you can drink too, alcohol. They do have kind of like a limited selection, so I think you can do like sangria, and they have like 2 beer options. So then we just got beer, and they'll just come and refill it for you. So that part's pretty cool. And then we had a strawberry shortcake for dessert, and that was very good. Highly recommend doing a hoop-de-doo. It's a little pricey, but certainly worth the money. And for the last part of this video, I'm going to give you some Disney World tips and tricks that have worked well for us to be able to maximize our time and really minimize those wait times. These are just my experiences, and Disney is changing their policies all the time, so this video might very well be outdated in a month or in a year, or who knows. Also, make sure that you check out a bunch of different YouTube videos on this stuff, or there's a lot of blogs out there, because people will dedicate a lot of time to helping you understand how everything at Disney World works, because it's a little bit of a learning curve and a complicated experience. What you don't want to do, what you don't ever want to do with Disney World, is you don't want to just show up without a plan. Because if you do that, you're going to end up spending a lot of money, and you're going to be able to do very, very little, and you're going to be waiting in a lot of lines, and it's not going to be a good experience for you. That might have worked years ago, but it doesn't really work now, because it can get super crowded. So what you want to do is, once you've decided, hey, I want to go on a Disney World trip or vacation, is you want to first of all figure out which date or which dates that you want to go. And then you want to purchase your tickets sooner rather than later. Because what's going to happen is, after you've purchased your tickets, depending if you're staying on property or not, what's going to happen is that they're going to open up a window, and that window is going to allow you to make dining reservations. And you're going to want to make sure that you pay attention to what date you can make your dining reservations, because you're going to want to make sure that you're on your phone and on the Disney World app making those dining reservations as soon as possible, because the dining reservations will sell out immediately, especially for the popular ones in the park. So you have to do your research. You have to think, okay, is there a certain spot that I want to eat food at? And you're going to want to make sure that you get that booked as soon as possible, because we've been on the app and we sometimes don't get our first choices, and we're there like seconds after we're like allowed to be there. The next thing you're going to want to do is that Disney World is on a park reservation system, and you're going to want to make sure that you reserve the park that you want to go to. Magic Kingdom is the most popular one, and that's the one that will sell out their reservations the fastest. I do hear they might be getting rid of the reservation system. Once you get to the park, you're going to have some options as far as Lightning Lanes and Genie Plus goes. Now, each park will have a certain number of rides that are what are called Lightning Lanes. And Lightning Lanes are, you can pay to basically skip the line. So it depends on the park and it depends on the ride, but they range anywhere from, I think, $10 to $20. What's going to happen is you're going to want to get on your park app in the morning. You're going to want to purchase the Lightning Lane as soon as possible, and then it'll give you a callback time. Lightning Lanes will sell out, so it's important to get on your phone as soon as you are allowed to. Callback times can be anywhere from like the middle of the day to later or in the evening. There's some flexibility as to when you get to pick your times, but the later you book, you might not get anything, or you might just only have one time slot available. So Lightning Lanes are something that if there's a certain ride that you really want to go on, that we recommend doing, because then you get to skip the line and it's going to make that whole ride experience a lot more enjoyable, or else you're probably waiting maybe 2 hours. And Lightning Lanes are always the most popular attraction at that particular park, so it's an easy way to bypass the wait, but it is expensive. Another option is something called Genie Plus. And the way that Genie Plus works is that you pay a certain amount of money. I say certain amount because it depends on the park. So Magic Kingdom will be the most expensive, and Animal Kingdom is the cheapest. And what Genie Plus is is that every 2 hours it will let you book a lightning lane type of experience for every other ride in the park except for that top attraction. For example, at Hollywood Studios, the Lightning Lane premium attraction is Rise of the Resistance. And that one you're going to have to pay individually for. And then if you buy Genie Plus, you can get every single other ride, but you can only book one every 2 hours. And then to complicate matters a little bit further, you're allowed to do your first booking at 7 a.m. And then the next one you actually can't do until 11 a.m. because it's 2 hours after the park opens. So there's some rules you're going to want to read up on about Genie Plus, but it's a good way to kind of schedule out and program your day. So a strategy that we like to do is we like to try and get the back of our day as loaded up as possible. So we'll buy like the Lightning Lane first. We'll try and get that towards the end of the day, and then we'll do the Genie Plus, and we'll try and get like the second best attraction towards the end of the day. And then when we're allowed to book our next one, we'll get one towards the end of the day. So then, for example, we might have dinner at 6 p.m., a ride at 6:45, another ride at 7:30, and then our final ride at like 8 or something like that. So it's a really kind of fun and quick thing at the end of the day. That's just a strategy that you can use, but you're going to want to check those blogs out because some people have really broken this stuff down into a science. So, moral of the story, if you're going to go to Disney World, make sure you have a plan, make sure you do your research, because we did our research, we had a plan, and it was money very well spent. It was a lot of fun. I didn't feel like I was being ripped off or paying ridiculous Disney prices like at all, because we got to do everything that we wanted to do, and so I highly recommend that you do that if you're looking to go to Disney World. And that's going to bring us to the end of our video about Disney World. Now, we want to hear from you. Have you been to Fort Wilderness? We want to hear about your thoughts and your experiences at that campsite. What tips and tricks do you have for beating the Disney system to minimize your wait time and maximize all the rides and attractions? And in general, what are your thoughts about Disney and theme parks? We want to hear from you. So throw us some comments and questions down in the comments section. And until next time, keep exploring.